It's kind of funny that, well, not funny, but it's been repeatedly said today in the testimony that people keep getting when you're in Iraq, you keep getting the wrong house when you're looking for terrorists. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Assalamu alaikum, shalom, peace to everyone. Welcome to another edition of Wake Up Project Radio. Tonight we're joined by a truly remarkable woman, Dr. Dahlia Wasfi. I have to confess, I just discovered her like a week ago. Somebody shared a video of hers, and I literally, like, after 3 minutes, I contacted her and said, you know, I've got to have you on the show. She's just amazing, as you will see. She's been an outspoken activist against the brutal occupation in Iraq for many years now. She's been interviewed by a variety of international television and radio programs, as well as attending many anti-war speaking engagements throughout the United States, including a New York City town hall meeting. She's also provided testimony before the Democratic Congressional Forum on Iraq. And it is my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Dahlia Wasfi to the show. Dahlia, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that very humbling introduction.
Oh, well, I think you deserve more. I think, well, the audience will hear, I think, as we go through things, and hopefully they'll check out you've got a YouTube channel, she's got a website. You'll see. She's just truly, truly a remarkable woman. Actually, why don't we go right into the background, because your background is intriguing and I would say highly relevant. And so why don't you go ahead and explain sort of your origins, just so the audience understands.
Okay, sure. That's my shtick. So, on my father's side, my dad is originally from Basra, Iraq, which is in southern Iraq. He was born and raised there, went on to Baghdad University and did well enough there to earn a government scholarship to do his graduate studies overseas. And he ended up getting a position to do his master's and PhD at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. At the same time, a nice Jewish girl from New York had just graduated from Barnard undergraduate and was moving on to Johns Hopkins School for Advanced International Studies, also located in D.C. And because her field was international relations, my mom wanted to live at the International Student House. And it was, this was the 1960s. And my mom could have lived any of a number of places, so the administration was a little hesitant to let an American student in housing that was reserved for international students, also because there were many Arab students there, and my mom would have been the only Jew. So she was the experiment, and I guess you could say it worked. That's where my parents met. They got married in 1968, had my sister in 1969, and then I was born in 1971, which was the same year that my dad finished his PhD. And in order to pay back that government scholarship, he had to go back to Iraq and teach chemistry at Basra University for 5 years. So the first 5 years of my life were back and forth between Iraq and the United States. We left as a family for the last time in 1977, always intending to go back to visit, but after years of wars and occupation, it made things very, very difficult, and finally I decided, I'm going to go before it gets any worse. So I went back for the first time in 2004, went for a 3-month stay in 2006, and as a result of my experiences and witnessing the effects of occupation, and I would say very mildly compared to what people have gone through, I've been calling for immediate unconditional withdrawal of American troops and mercenaries from Iraq, from Afghanistan, and to cut off aid to Israel, so to stop funding the illegal occupation. And this is, of course, all in compliance with international law.
Mm-hmm. Can you give some details about your visits, either one, 2004, 2006, or both?
Sure. In 2004, it was actually, it was a magical trip for me. It was as if the occupation were not there, because I was reuniting with family, some of whom I hadn't seen in 27 years, but many of my cousins I'd never met. I'm older than they are, and they were born after we'd left. So it was really, it was a magical experience. And at that point, services were pretty good. Electricity and water in the South, were still available. We would lose electricity for maybe an hour or two in the evening, but that was it. While at that time, Baghdad was on rolling blackouts, 3 hours on, 3 hours off. But just connecting with my family and seeing how they lived and the stories they told of basically they were starving during the years of economic sanctions. And I had a lot of guilt, having been in the United States, knowing my tax dollars paid to inflict suffering upon them. And I really, I resented myself as an American there, showing my face, but my family welcomed me as part of the family, and I decided at that point that I have no foreign accent. I'm born in New York. I have to do something with my American privilege to give them a voice, because they've had no voice under a dictatorship, and now they have no voice under occupation. So that was really a motivator. When I went back in 2006, life was unbelievably difficult for this spoiled American who is used to 24 hours of electricity, unlimited water supplies when I turn on the faucet, and basic security. That was the greatest thing, according to Iraqis I've spoken with, of what they lost. And that's why the days of the Ba'athist regime although there was certainly political repression and very difficult struggle for survival because of economic sanctions, but things are so bad since then that those are now the good old days. And the first step to healing, the very first step, is to end the illegal occupation. Iraq is the cradle of civilization. I am quite sure that Iraqis can come up with something to take care of themselves.
It's funny. I was talking to my aunt, a week ago or so, and she's a nice woman, just a nice, simple woman, and we had a long talk, and she was talking about, the people of that region, they're just naturally violent. They're just naturally violent. You can't change them. That's just the way they are. It's just the way they are. And then she started talking about how the United States has cleaned up for them, and we should probably pull out of there and all that, but we did clean up their country for them. And it's like, well, yes, we did get rid of Saddam Hussein, but, we do need to look at the fact that we put him there in the first place. And she's like, well, that may be. And I just thought, my goodness, I can't even believe it's so far removed from me that people actually are still in this state of ignorance, that somehow America has gone in and helped this country. Would you say that second visit, I don't know, I'm just assuming, did it ignite or deepen your activism, or was it just the same? Did it renew it or refuel it and make you even more more determined?
I think it did, especially because the contrast. At my first trip, I had gone through from Jordan to Baghdad, and so I had spent some of the time in Baghdad. My second trip, I'll back up. The first trip was February and March of 2004. So that was before the Abu Ghraib scandal, the U.S. prison scandal came to light. That was before the April siege of Fallujah, which was a massacre, and that was before the November siege of Fallujah, which was a triple massacre. And so anti-American sentiment was already present in 2004, but we had given them plenty more reason to despise our presence in the region. So after the first trip, I recognized, I saw it was really more out of love for my family than, probably that was the highest motivator for me to come back and try to do something for them.